Now, today we are going to discuss one more aspect, that is religion. Clear? Now, we have discussed some points related with religion when we discussed the art and architecture of Indus Valley civilization. Like, the things which we have discussed were that Indus Valley people were nature worshippers. They mainly worshipped the forces of nature. Clear? And not only that, they also personified the forces of nature, like what we have seen in one of the seals, that Yogi has been Pashupati seal, unicorn, mother goddess. So, in that way, what we can say, that the people of Harappan civilization were nature worshippers. They worshipped trees, they worshipped the forces of nature, they personified the god like the mother goddess. Clear? So, in that way, what we can say, religion during the time of Indus Valley was very primitive in nature. Clear? And it was very much simple. More we can conclude, or more we can say about Indus Valley civilization's religion once the language is being deciphered. Till now, whatever information we are having from the excavations, from the material remains, or from the c- civilizations of Mesopotamia and Egypt, from because Indus Valley people were having trade relations with them. So, whatever information we are having on the basis of the foreign civilizations, our own excavations, we can conclude that they were primitive. Their religion was primitive, and they were nature worshippers. Now, after Indus Valley civilization, when it comes to Vedic people, Vedic people brought with them a new type of religious practices, a new type of worship. Now, that type of worship is being considered as a Vedic religion, the religion which is being practiced by the Vedic people. Okay, we'll discuss this Vedic religion in detail. So, those Aryans who migrated to India and then settled down, when they devised their own form of worship, their own form of believing in certain beliefs, that is that became their religion. Now, this particular Vedic religion was further divided in two. One we can say during Rig Vedic time, and another during the later Vedic time. Clear? So, Vedic religion can also be divided in two categories, that is, Rigvedic religion and later Vedic religion. After this phase of Vedic religion, when there was a start of sedentic life, people started getting organized by the identity of land. They constituted janpadas, then mahajanpadas. During that particular time, this Vedic religion underwent lots of changes. And because of that changes, some people liked those changes, while others were hated it. Clear? In that case, what happened? Some new religions emerged. Clear? And those religions were Buddhism, started by Mahatma Buddha, and Jainism, propagated by 24 Tirthankaras. Clear? And last Tirthankar, 24 Tirthankar was Mahavir Swami. Clear? So, in that sense, two new religions came during the time of 6th century BCE. This was the time when some new religions came into existence. Clear? Now, what doctrine they propagated, why they came, and what was their impact on the Indian polity and society that we are going to discuss. Apart from it, certain small religions also came, but they were not as prominent as Jainism and Buddhism, like Ajaiviks, Charvaks. Clear? So these were some heterodox sects which came into picture as well during the same time, and they dominated for almost 4 to 7 centuries. And then, during the time of Guptas, there was a revival. Revival of this Vedic religion into what we call today Hinduism. Clear? So, Vedic religion is quite different from Hindu religion, and the difference is only certain conceptual. Clear? Otherwise, the religion which has been followed here by the Vedic people, majority of those ideas, those beliefs, those rituals has been practiced by people in modern day Hinduism only. Clear? But some essence, some gods, they have been changed. So this is what we are going to discuss in today's session. Clear? So this particular aspect from your prelims point of view is important. Clear? Why important? Because UPSC is having habit of asking question from this particular reason mainly, or this particular reason. So in that way, this becomes important for us for our prelims examination, and as far as mains is concerned, questions are asked from the cultural aspect connecting with these religions. Clear? So in that case, it is important for prelims as well as mains, but right now we are discussing about prelims. Now, let's begin with the Vedic age, because during Indus Valley civilization, the nature and character of religion I have discussed in the art and architecture of Indus Valley civilization. You can refer that particular video. Now, when it comes to Vedic age, Aryans, if I ask you, Aryans were indigenous people or the foreigners who settled in India? So the answer is Aryans came to India somewhere from the western side. Here there are numerous theories. Some claim that Aryans came from Siberian region, some claims they came from the Asia Minor region, some claims they came from middle part of Europe, that is Germany. Clear? So there are various theories. We'll not go into detail of those theories, what they mentioned. But Aryans came to India from the western part. And then they settled themselves in and around the river Sindhu or Indus. Later on, they migrated into further into Gangetic plains. Clear? So these people settled down in this particular region, and they were pastoral, semi-nomadic people. Pastoral means their main occupation was animal rearing, and semi-nomadic, that means they lived in a particular place but not for a long. They were not having a settled life. They were having a semi-nomadic life, living at a particular place for some time, then moving to some other place. Clear? It can be said that because they are pastoral in nature, so it their life was dependent on their cattles. Clear? So that is what the nature and character of Aryan people, which and polity of Aryan people we'll discuss when we'll discuss the ancient Indian history. But right now it's time for discussing the religion of Aryan people or the Vedic people. Now, because they were again semi nomadic in nature, pastoral in occupation, their religion will be a simple one. Clear? Simple one, why? Because if you are having a nomadic life where you are moving from one place to another, you cannot follow strict code of conduct of a religion. Whatever code of conduct you draw, it will be very difficult to follow it strictly if you are a nomadic person, or even if you are a semi nomadic person. So the religion during the Vedic age, the early Vedic age, was a simple, and particularly they were also the nature worshippers. But what they have done, they have personified nature. How they personified? That the forces of nature, like fire, they gave it the form of a god and called him Agni. The force of nature, rain or thunderstorm, they called it Indra. The forces of wind, they called it Varun. Clear? So their nature or their religion was natural. Nature worshippers were people of Vedic age, but they have personified natural forces has been recognized in a humanized form or in a personified way. That is what their religion was. Not only this, it was based on henotheism and kathenotheism. Now, what does it mean? Henotheism means one supreme God. One supreme God. And kathenotheism means presence of multiple gods. Now, what does it mean? One supreme God and presence of multiple gods. Clear? This is what something very contradictory. Clear? So, this particular concept, henotheism and kathenotheism, means there will be multiple gods. There will be multiple gods, but there will be one supreme. Now, who will be supreme? That is what the question is. But the concept of henotheism and kathenotheism means that there will be multiple gods and one supreme gods which was called. Means if you are calling Lord Indra, he is the supreme one. If you are calling Lord Agni, God Agni, then Agni is supreme one. If you are calling Varun or some other god, then that particular god will be the supreme god or the sole guider. Clear? So there will be presence of multiple gods, but one god will be supreme at a time of which the mantra or hymn you are reciting. So if you are calling for Lord Sun, then that particular god is supreme at that particular point of time. That is what the concept of henotheism and kathenotheism. So this was the basic concept during the time of Vedic age, where people believed that there were multiple gods and they worshipped them all equally, they respected them all equally, and that particular god became supreme, which has been called at that particular point of time. Okay, so back to the religion. Mode of worship during that particular time was sacrifice. Here, the sacrifice is not the animal sacrifice. Here, sacrifice what is beloved or what you belong or what you possess. What you possess. It is not essentially you have to sacrifice a particular animal, you have to sacrifice a particular commodity. Sacrifice here means what you want to sacrifice. Clear? So that is what the nature, whatever you had. Clear? It was not essentially animal. Clear? So this is what the nature. Through various sacrifices, you have to donate. You have to forget after donating that I have sacrificed this particular thing which was my in my possession. Now I have given it. Clear? And through mantras, by conducting various mantras, by reciting various mantras, you are sacrificing your beloved things. Clear? And this worship is not being done for spiritual benefit or spiritual supremacy. You must remember this. During Vedic time, people conducted various sacrifices or rituals to gain material benefit. कि भगवान मुझे गाय दे दो, मुझे मेरे पास गायों का भंडार कर दो, ठीक है, मेरे पास धन बढ़ा दो, जमीन बढ़ा दो, लाइक दिस टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स. दे वर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट गॉड मुझे मोक्ष दिला दो, ऐसी कोई उनकी धारणा नहीं थी. दे ओनली वांटेड मटेरियल बेनिफिट एंड फॉर दैट रीजन ओनली दे वर कंडक्टिंग sacrifices. Clear? So that is what the nature of Vedic religion. Clear? Now, after this, there were four Vedas as well. There was, when I am saying they conducted sacrifice through yajna. Yajna has been performed by priest. Clear? And at one particular yajna, there were all four priests were present. Hotri or Hotra, the one who was having knowledge of Rig Ved, the one who calls. Means when you are performing a sacrifice, you have to call the god to sit in front. Clear? Or to mark his presence. So the one priest who will call the god will be a Hotri. Why so? Because he must have the knowledge of Rig Ved. He is having the knowledge of Rig Ved. Clear? Then the Udgatri, the one who is having knowledge of Sam Ved. We'll discuss these Vedas in detail later on. Clear? When we'll discuss literature. The one who is having knowledge of Sam Ved will be called as, will be regarded as Udgatri. And what he will do? He will sing the hymns in a musical way. That is what his duty during a sacrifice. Similarly, Adhavaryu, the one who is having knowledge of Yajurved, will be responsible of conducting the sacrifice. He will perform all the actions during that particular time. And when we'll discuss Yajurved also have two sub parts, Krishna Yajurved, Sham Yajurved. Clear? And when we'll discuss the literature, it will be clear to you why this particular individual is conducting the sacrifice. Okay? And then one, he is not having a particular name, the one who supervises, the one who has knowledge of Atharva Ved. He is overlooking the sacrifices, that everything is in place or not, whether everyone is performing their responsibilities as per the proper way or not. So this is what the sacrifice or ritual is being performed. This is how ritual is being performed. And prominent gods during this particular times, during this particular time of Vedic age, was Indra, Why prominent? Because 250 hymns or sukt has been attributed to him. 250 बार इनके बारे में इनके लिए मंत्र लिखे गए हैं. अग्नि 200 hymns or suks, Varun 33. That shows how prominent or how much importance the people gave of Vedic age gave to Indra and Agni. Why Agni has been given that much importance? Because God Agni is considered as messenger. Messenger. Why? Because in the fire altar, when you are sacrificing, you are conducting certain rituals, it is being carried by Lord Agni to the gods. That's why Agni is being given that much importance. So, this was the nature of religion when it comes to Vedic age. Here, the religion was again simple. Why simple? Because Varna was based on karma. Clear? Society was divided. Clear? But your Varna was based on your duties or your karma. Which type of actions you are performing, on that basis, your Varna has been decided. Clear? So, there were Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, clear? Shudras, but they were based on their karma. Okay, so this is what we talk about Vedic religion. Now, Vedic religion clear? Now coming to the later Vedic age. What distinguishes the Vedic age from later Vedic age or early Vedic age to later Vedic age? The the period which differentiates or which makes the divide is 1000 BC. And why this particular time? Because here people discovered iron. Discovery of iron took place. Now, discovery of iron as a metal was a landmark change or landmark discovery in the history of human evolution. Why? Because now with iron access, iron tools, you can cut dense forest. You can easily cut them down. You can till the land more deep. Otherwise, wooden plows might have been not digging or not tilling the land that much deep. But with iron, now tilling can be done very easily. And now when tilling is being done, forest is being cutted with a fertile land, agriculture becomes quite easy. And when agriculture becomes quite easy, people will start living a sedentary life. Clear? So when they start living a sedentary life, then what I am saying, they can practice religion in a more sophisticated way, in a more complex way. So that is how the nature of later Vedic religion changed. Clear? It is all because of this particular discovery. Discovery of iron. That entirely changed the polity of later Vedic time from early Vedic time. It changed the economy of later Vedic time from that of early Vedic time. It changed the society. It changed the religion. Clear? So that particular discovery marks a landmark shift. Clear? Now, new gods became prominent rather than the Vishnu, rather than the Indra, Agni, Varun, Mitra, Nasatya. Now, new gods Vishnu, Prajapati, and Rudra, Tridev. Clear? They came into prominence. Clear? And it is considered that it is the god of creation, Prajapati. He created human beings. Clear? The religion of early Vedic time was very simple, but now what they are doing, they are personifying, they are giving more and more importance to gods. Clear? And what needs to be done? So, their mode of worship is now composition of mantras and recitation of mantra. बार बार मंत्र पढ़ते रहना है तभी भगवान प्रसन्न होंगे. Clear? So that is what a new form of religion is what we have seen. And now the sacrifice during early Vedic age, the sacrifice of what you possess. Now the sacrifice of animals you have to sacrifice. या तो दान में देना पड़ेगा या बलि चढ़ानी पड़ेगी. Clear? So in that way, materialistic shift. Why? Because they were performing for materialistic gains only. Clear? So when you want to sacrifice, you want to earn more and more material benefits, you have to sacrifice materially only. You have to conduct, you have to give alimony to the priest who conducted the sacrifice. दान देना होगा, दक्षिणा देनी होगी. Clear? So this is how the change which has been brought during the time of later Vedic phase. Clear? Now, apart from this, clear? The religion becomes orthodox. Clear? Orthodox in the sense that only Brahman will conduct the sacrifice. Only Brahman will conduct the sacrifice. You cannot conduct sacrifice on your own by reading book. Clear? So, only Brahman will conduct. Not only this, the Varna system is now based on birth. राजा का बेटा राजा ही होगा अब, ब्राह्मण का बेटा ब्राह्मण ही होगा. Clear? So in that way, it became more and more orthodox. Clear? And vertical movement within the religion was not allowed. Clear? The society was essentially divided into four varnas. A hierarchy has been created. Chaturvarna system evolved. Where three varnas are called as Dvij, and one is being left out. The one was Shudra. Clear? And the other three varna, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmin. Clear? They were called as Dvij. Brahmin, Kshatriya, and Vaishya were called as Dvij, and Shudra were left out of this Chaturvarna system. Dvij means the one who is born twice. Twice born. अब दो बार कैसे जन्म लेगा भाई? ठीक है? One, when he arrived at this world physically. That is the first part. And second, when Upanayan is being performed on the particular individual or child, Janev Sanskar, when he is being started being taught Vedas and other things. Clear? So this is how a person from Brahmin, Kshatriya or Vaishya community becomes twice born or Dvij. Clear? UPSC has asked this particular question previously. Clear? And Shudras were left out. And not only this, they were not allowed to read or study Vedas, but they can listen. सुन सकते हैं, but पढ़ नहीं सकते. Clear? And their responsibility of every single varna is being decided by their birth only. Clear? Brahmin will perform sacrifices, yajna, all those things were performed to be performed by Brahmin. Kshatriyas, they are considered as the protector, the savior. Vaishya, the one who will produce. Clear? And Shudra, the only responsibility which has been provided to Shudra was to serve the other three. They have to serve the other three. Clear? So in that way, the religion became more and more orthodox. The religion became more and more traditional. Clear? Or what we can say, the religion became more and more Brahmanical. Now, behind this, there was a theory provided as well that these four varnas has been created from the god Prajapati. And how they have been created? They have been created from four different parts of the Prajapati. From head, Brahmins emerged. From arms, Kshatriyas. From the middle portion of the body, Vaishya. And from feet, Shudra. So just like head, which lies at the top, Brahmins will be at the top of the Varna system. Clear? And they will govern, they will decide each and everything about the other three. Clear? जैसे हमारे शरीर में दिमाग काम करता है. Arms, because of the physical strength, they need to protect. So Kshatriyas will be the protector. The middle portion of the body, the appetite, stomach, and the reproductive organs, which are having the responsibility of production. Clear? The appetite. So, in that way, the responsibility of Shudra is to produce. Clear? And just like feet serve the complete body by keeping it standing, Shudras has to serve the other three varnas. So, this is how the system of Varna emerged or being transformed. Now, they were considered as Dvij, we have discussed this. Clear? And this change, यही वो चेंज होगा जो सोसाइटी में एक डिस्कंटेंट क्रिएट करेगा. Discontent by? Because Brahmins were considered as supreme. Clear? Shudras has been not been provided any responsibility, so they will also feel secluded. Vaishya, when they are producing, but they are not enjoying the benefits. What type of benefits? Rituals is being performed by Brahmins, ruling is being done by Kshatriyas, but who is producing? Producing is Vaishyas. Clear? So in that sense, there will be discontent in the society, and when this discontent will be there, each one will be against one another. सब एक दूसरे के खिलाफ होंगे. Clear? But what will happen? The discontent between these two will be greater. Why so? Because they will consider themselves supreme, but being the protector of the society, being the soldiers, being the rulers, what they will believe? They will believe that because they are ruling, they should be considered as more important, or more importance needs to be given to them. But Brahmins kept this power with them, that they are supreme. It is only Brahmins who will bestow the authority on the king. जब तक मैं नहीं बोलूंगा, जब तक मैं तुम्हारे साथ यज्ञ नहीं परफॉर्म करूंगा, वो अथॉरिटी तुम्हें मिलेगी नहीं. Clear? That type of nature of religion happened during the time of later Vedic phase. So discontent will be there. Clear? These two will also have discontent, but they are not having the sufficient power to overlook or challenge the authority of Brahmins and Kshatriyas, and they have been left out. Clear? Forget about the Shudras to revolt against these. Clear? In such scenario, what will happen? That it will be the responsibility of Kshatriyas to break that hegemony of Brahmins, the so-called hegemony of Brahmins. And that is what happened. That during this particular time, when this particular later Vedic time religion became more and more orthodox, it became more and more traditional, more and more rituals is being performed, and that too by Brahmins, more orthodoxy has been introduced, that some new religion came into picture. Clear? So it was not the nature of the religion, rather it is the way it has changed, brought new religions into picture. Now, when it comes to the rise of new religion, it was done essentially by Kshatriyas. It was the Kshatriyas who brought new religions. And how they brought new religions? Because they were having the power, they were having the authority to bring new religion. Clear? And they were supported by the other one, the Vaishya. They will support. Why? Because they are also fed up of Brahmins. Why they were fed up of? Because they were the producing one. So if they are producing, they require animal. Bull will be required to pull the plow. But what Brahmins will say? Sacrifice. Clear? So sacrificial religion was not beneficial to Vaishya as well. It was not at all beneficial for Kshatriyas. Clear? So Kshatriyas started religion, new type of religion, or the revolt movement, and Vaishyas supported it. Clear? Again, the role of Shudras were minimum. Clear? So that is how new religion came into prominence, or new religions came into picture. Clear? In that way, some new elements also came into picture, like which became a cause for the rise of religion. Like after later Vedic time, when people started living a sedentary life, Janpadas came, and after Janpadas, it was the time of Mahajanpadas. And when Mahajanpad came, the material prosperity also increased. Clear? The material prosperity also increased, and with that increase in material prosperity, the Vaishyas became more prominent, and now they want their share in the power, political power, or the social upliftment. But as I have told you, Varna system became rigid, vertical movement was not allowed. In that sense, it has to be changed. Clear? And this is how new religion came. Okay. Now, coming to one such religion which came into prominence. Clear? That is Buddhism. Clear? So, when it comes to Buddhism, people started following Buddhism more prominently than any other religion during this particular time. When it comes to Buddhism, it is a religion which has been started by Mahatma Buddha. Clear? His original name was Siddharth. Clear? He born in 562 3 BCE. Clear? At Kapilvastu. Clear? His father Shuddhodan was the king of Kapilvastu. He belonged to Shakya tribe. This is what the factual information which you need to remember always, because if this type of question is being asked in statement based, clear, it will be very easy question, and this type of question you should not put any error. Clear? So शाक्य tribe से belong करते थे भगवान बुद्ध. Clear? His original name was Siddharth. His father name was Shuddhodhan. Mother name was Mahamaya. She belonged to Koliya Gansang. There were, as I have told you, there were monarchies and Gansanga as well during Mahajanpadas. Clear? So, she belonged to Koliya Gansang. Clear? After some time of the birth of Buddha or Siddharth, his mother died, and because of that, he is being taken care by her caretaker Daima Mahaprajapati Gautami. This Mahaprajapati Gautami will come later as well, when she will become the first female monk in the Buddhist Sangh. So remember this name, Mahaprajapati Gautami, the one who took care of Buddha. Clear? Buddha was married to Yashodhara, clear, and had a son named Rahul. So he was having a very good family life. A son of a king, prince, going to be the future king. Clear? So in that way, Siddhartha was having a very good life, a rich and luxurious life. But there is a story behind. The story was, after the birth of Siddhartha, his father, Shuddhodhan, he went to one priest to look into the future of his child. कि क्या होगा, मेरे बेटे का भविष्य क्या होगा, ये किस तरह का बनेगा, मेरी तरह राजा बनेगा या नहीं, इसका किस एरिया में इंटरेस्ट है. Clear? So his father went to a priest, but the priest told his father that this particular child, either he will become one of the greatest of the king, or he will become one of the greatest of the saint. Clear? So that particular thing was there in the mind of his father, and because of that, Siddharth has been provided with all the luxuries of life, and he is being hardly being allowed to visit the places outside the palace. So that his father thought, आदत हो जाएगी इस luxurious life की, then it will be very difficult for him to be a saint or ascetic. Clear? So in that way, this was the phase when Siddharth enjoyed his life, or the luxuriousness or the lavishness of a life of a Kshatriya or a prince. Clear? But after getting married, he was having so many thoughts. And one such day when he is supposed to be the next king in a couple of times, in a few times. Then one day, from his palace balcony, he looked outside, and what he saw? He saw four different things. One crippled person, one old person, one dead body, and one ascetic. So चार अलग अलग तरह की चीजें उन्होंने देखी. क्लियर? एक बूढ़ा व्यक्ति, एक crippled person, a dead body, clear, and an ascetic. Looking into first three, he questioned himself why there is so much of sorrow in the world, that despite so much of effort, that age is going to increase. Clear? Jaravastha आएगी ही आएगी. Clear? Despite sincere efforts, disease can be caught, and ultimately a person is supposed to die. No person is going to live forever. Clear? So people are going to be dead. Clear? And because of that, people are having so much of miseries, is having so much of tensions. जो बुजुर्ग है वो अपनी बुजुर्गावस्था की वजह से टेंशन में है, जो बीमार है वो भी पीड़ित है बेचारा, जो मर गया है उसके आसपास के जो व्यक्ति है वो भी दुखी है. Then he saw one ascetic who is moving freely and moving happily. Clear? Then the question came into his mind, why he is so happy when the world is full of sorrow, when there are problems in the world? Why this particular individual is happy despite he is having nothing? घर नहीं है, कपड़े नहीं हैं, भीख मांग के काम चला रहा है, but even after this particular individual is happy in his life. Why so? And that brought the change, and hence those four things has been considered as four great signs which has been seen by लॉर्ड बुद्धा. ये वो चार चीजें हैं जिसने भगवान बुद्ध की लाइफ को, सिद्धार्थ की लाइफ को कंप्लीटली चेंज कर दिया. Clear? And now, after seeing this, all these things, he decided to search for the truth. अब जानना है कि सच क्या है, क्यों वो सन्यासी इतना खुश है, क्यों बाकी लोग जिनके पास इतना ज्यादा मटेरियल बेनिफिट्स है वो खुश नहीं है. Clear? So now he went into his ultimate search of the truth. And when he decided all those things, one night he decided to renounce the material world. He decided to leave his family. Without saying a word to his family, he left his house on his horse named Kanthak. Clear? And he has been horse charioteer was Charna. Clear? So this is how the life changed of Siddharth. Clear? After this, after the in the age of, this was in the age of 29 or 30. Clear? Now after this, he wandered from place to place. He started asking questions because now these questions were there in the mind of Siddharth. Clear? So he asked, in path of the truth, he met with few people. He asked some questions to him, accepted them as their teaching. So during this particular time, Siddharth was having two teachers, Alar Kalam and Rudrak Ramputra. So these were two teachers which Siddharth went to get his answers. that is to reach the truth. But none of them satisfied the questions of Bhagwan, Buddha or Siddhartha. In that way he left them after some time. जब तक सवालों के जवाब मिल रहे थे, he was there with the teacher, but when answers were not there with the teacher, he left the teacher. So that is what the scenario. Why? Because he was now in the search of ultimate truth and he will not stop until the truth is being found. Clear? And when he was roaming from one place to another in search of that ultimate truth, one fine day he decided that now I will not move unless I get the ultimate truth. Clear? So he sat under a Bodhi tree at Gaya with the promise that I will not stand, I will not move unless I get the ultimate truth. Then he started meditating under the Bodhi tree. And after 49 days of meditation, continuous meditation, finally he got his ultimate truth. Clear? And that is how he became enlightened. ज्ञान की प्राप्ति हो गई 50 दिन लगातार ध्यान में बैठकर. Clear? And then he started giving sermons. Why? Because now he is having the knowledge of ultimate truth. Clear? So now he can preach those things. And he gave his first sermon at Sarnath. Clear? And this particular event when he gave his first sermon was Dhamma Chakra Parivartan, now changing of the vehicle, changing of the time. Okay, so this is what the time of Buddha, when the young prince became Bhagwan Buddha or Lord Buddha. Clear? The first 5 disciples to whom Bhagwan Mahatma Buddha gave his sermon was Varang, also Vapa, Tatya, Ashvajit, Mahanam and Badya. Somewhere it is also written as Bhadrak. Clear? So these were the 5 disciples, first 5 disciples of Mahatma Buddha. And disciples in the same, when he was searching for the truth, these 4-5 people met with Siddharth, spent some time together कि तुम भी सत्य की खोज में निकले हो, हम भी सत्य की खोज में निकले हैं, चलो साथ में ढूंढते हैं. कुछ टीचर्स के साथ भी रहे हैं ये साथ में. क्लियर? और फिर जब घूमते घूमते भगवान बुद्ध को ज्ञान की प्राप्ति हो गई और इन्हें नहीं हुई, ठीक है, तो फिर मिले सारनाथ में. तो बोले तुम्हें ज्ञान मिल गया? बोले नहीं मिला. बोले हमें तो मिल गया. बोले आओ बताता हूँ. फिर भगवान बुद्ध ने सारनाथ में इन्होंने बताया कि क्या है अल्टीमेट ज्ञान, क्या है अल्टीमेट knowledge, the ultimate truth, and that became the first sermon of Mahatma Buddha. Later on, he also gave sermons at Kashi, Gaya, Magad, Shavasti, Koshal. Remember, Bhagwan Buddha never went to Avanti. अवंती नहीं गए, उन्होंने अवंती में सरमन नहीं दिया, अपना कोई उपदेश नहीं दिया. कोई दुश्मनी नहीं थी, मौका नहीं पड़ा और अवंती थोड़ा फार ऑफ प्लेस था. प्रेजेंट डे मध्य प्रदेश एंड दीज प्लेसेस आर देयर इन उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार एंड नेपाल. क्लियर? सो दैट इज व्हाट द लाइफ साइकिल ऑफ लॉर्ड बुद्धा, हाउ फ्रॉम सिद्धार्थ ही बिकेम महात्मा बुद्ध. Clear? Now, before going further, what is that ultimate truth which Mahatma Buddha found? Clear? He found that there are 4 noble truths. There are 4 noble truths. And what the 4 noble truths are? First, The world is full of sorrow. The world is full of sorrow. हर इंसान दुखी है बेचारा. Clear? The entire world is full of sorrow. Everyone is having his own sorrow. Clear? And why the world is full of sorrow? Because there are desire. There is a cause of sorrow. Clear? There is a cause. And what is that cause? The cause is desire. ठीक है? इच्छा. जितनी आप इच्छा करोगे उतना ज़्यादा आप दुखी रहोगे. ठीक है? क्यों? क्योंकि इच्छा करते रहोगे. इच्छा करोगे तो उसके लिए काम करते रहोगे. काम करते रहोगे तो थकान होते रहेगी. ठीक है? अगर मान लो वो इच्छा पूरी हो गई तो और बड़ी इच्छा करोगे, फिर और बड़ी इच्छा करोगे. ठीक है? इस तरीके से आपका पूरा जो लाइफ साइकिल है, इट विल बी अ साइकिल ऑफ continuous work. Clear? So desire is the root cause of sorrow. Clear? Third, sorrows can be eliminated. Sorrows can be eliminated. इन दुखों को दूर किया जा सकता है. And there is a path for it. There is a path for it. And that path which Buddha prescribed is the Ashtangik Marg, or eightfold path. So these are four noble truths which Buddha prescribed. चार शाश्वत सत्य. कि दुख है, दुख के कारण है, दुखों को समाप्त किया जा सकता है और दुख को समाप्त करने का एक रास्ता है. Clear? So this is how the noble paths, noble truths, and then he provided for eightfold path. Like some of them are right thoughtfulness, right mindfulness, right action, right conduct, clear, right speech, these type of eightfold path. And this eightfold path is also called as Madhyam Marg. Madhyam Marg or Majjim Marg. What is that Majjim Marg or Madhyam Marg? That you should not go on to extreme. You should avoid extreme. Either extreme austerity should not be adopted, neither extreme lavishness or luxury should be adopted. You should adopt a right path, which is bare essential. आप सही रास्ते पे चले, ना तो बहुत ज़्यादा लग्जरी की तरफ बढ़े और न ही बहुत ज़्यादा अतिशय त्याग और अतिशय लोभ, दोनों का त्याग करने के लिए भगवान बुद्ध कहते हैं. क्लियर? एंड दैट इज हाउ he provided for that middle path, madhyam marg. Clear? So that is what the noble truth which he provided to us. Clear? And then how to annihilate oneself from the sorrows, अपने दुखों से कैसे बाहर आना है उसका रास्ता भी बता दिया है. Clear? And then he talked about some more things. And what are those things? That once you decide yourself to get rid of those things, you should allow yourself to come to Buddhist Sangh. Here, then he opened the Sangh as well. A organization has been created called as Sangh, where people can come by giving up their previous life. Clear? तो इस तरीके से भगवान बुद्ध ने एक न्यू रिलीजन स्टार्ट किया. नाउ दिस रिलीजन was more simple in nature. Again, people will like simple things only. ठीक है? So it was simple in nature. What needs to be done? You need to meditate. Clear? You need to meditate. कोई आडंबर नहीं, कोई rituals नहीं, कोई sacrifice नहीं. You have to meditate. Clear? You have to treat fellow individual with humanity, treated equal. So he promoted that equality within Sangha as well. Whatever lies outside, he has not at all concerned with it. Remember this particular fact. ठीक है? Lord Buddha or Mahatma Buddha was not concerned with social reform. What he said? If you are a follower of Buddhism, everyone is being equal. Clear? So he did not attack the caste system, the Varna system. Clear? Now, then the question came whether there is existence of God or not. Buddha said, I don't know. है या नहीं है मुझे कोई मतलब नहीं है इस चीज से. So he somehow or very cleverly kept himself out of the controversy. That I have no expectation, I have no knowledge about whether there is God or not. Clear? I know one thing, that sorrow is there. Sorrows can be eliminated. Clear? And desire is what? The root cause of all those sorrows. Okay? But yes, man is there in the cycle of birth and rebirth. ठीक है? इस जन्म और मृत्यु के चक्र में इंसान फंसा हुआ है. और क्यों फंसा हुआ है? क्योंकि उसकी इच्छाएं पूरी नहीं हुई हैं. जब तक वो इच्छा करते रहेगा, उसका पुनर्जन्म होते रहेगा. हो सकता है इस जन्म में कोई इच्छाएं पूरी नहीं हुई तो आप पुनः जन्म लोगे उन इच्छाओं को पूरी करने के लिए. ठीक है? एंड व्हेन दोज डिजायर्स कम्स टू एन एंड, यू विल अटेन निर्वाण. आपको उस ज्ञान की प्राप्ति हो जाएगी. ठीक है? आपकी इच्छाएं समाप्त हो जाएगी और आप इस जन्म और मृत्यु के चक्र से बाहर आ जाएंगे. क्लियर? सो दैट इज व्हाट बुद्धा prescribed. Now, simple way of life, organized Sangh provided certain rules as well. Sangh was open to all except, now this is what UPSC will ask. UPSC has already asked this particular question. Sangh was open to all except child. बच्चे नहीं आ सकते थे because they were not having the mental intellect to decide for their own life. So hence, children were not allowed. Indebted. Indebted person, वो इंसान जो कर्ज में डूबा हुआ है. ठीक है? क्यों? Because once you enter into Sangh, you will give up on your identity of the previous life. Clear? That means the debts and all those things will not be your concern. So indebted person is not allowed. Clear your debts and then you are most welcome. Clear? Then the one who is having a communicable disease, the one who is affected with a communicable disease. So obvious reason to maintain the dignity or the environment within the Sangh. And one more group was not allowed, the tribals. Clear? Tribals were not allowed. The reason is not clear why tribals were not allowed in Buddhist Sangh. Clear? But they were not allowed. Initially, Lord Buddha was also of the opinion that women should not be allowed. Clear? women should also be not allowed in the Buddhist Sangh. But after continue persuasion of his disciples Anand, Upali, and foster mother Mahaprajapati Gautami, clear, Lord Buddha allowed. Buddha believed that if women are allowed in Sangh, the religion, the Sangh will destroy, disintegrate within 1,000 years. That is what the perception given by Mahatma Buddha. But after persuasion by his disciples and foster mother, women were being allowed. So, इसे आप भूल जाए, ये सिर्फ एक कहने की बातें है कि भगवान बुद्ध पहले अलाउ नहीं करते थे. यू शुड रिमेंबर this particular sections which were not allowed to Buddhist Sangh. Clear? And once you enter into Sangh, either you will be a lay worshipper or a monk. Clear? And there is a strict code of conduct for monks. Clear? So this is what the religion which has been prescribed by Mahatma Buddha. Now, coming back, that he prescribed all those things, we have discussed all those things. Now, Buddhism spreaded in India. Clear? Why? Because it provided for simple teachings. Secondly, the rulers, the Kshatriyas which were there at that particular point of time, were also willing to accept a new religion and come out of that Brahmanical influence. So, there were certain prominent rulers who supported or became patrons of Buddhism, like Bimbisar from Haryak dynasty, Ajat during whose time Buddhist council has been conducted. Then Prasenjit, the king of Kaushal, he was also a patron of Buddhism. Kalashok, during whose time Buddhist council has been conducted. Clear? Then Ashok, during whose time again Buddhist council has been conducted. The greatest ruler of Mauryan dynasty, and Kanishk, during whose time as well Buddhist council has been conducted. Clear? So in that scenario, these are prominent rulers who gave patronage to Buddhism, and not only patronage, they also extended support to Buddhist Sangh. They also gave donations to Buddhist Sangh so that they can survive or meet their necessities. Clear? So that is how Buddhism came into prominence. Now, because Buddhism was simple in nature, it was not supporting any type of extreme mechanism. It has been accepted by people in huge number. It attracted masses. क्लियर? कि ना तो अतिशय त्याग की बात कर रहे हैं, ना अतिशय भोग की बात कर रहे हैं. बहुत ही सिंपल तरीका है प्रेयर का भी. ठीक है? So best thing is accept it. Clear? Follow it. You will be free from the Brahmanical tradition or Brahmanical thinking. Clear? So that is how this particular religion gained prominence. Now, after the death of Buddha, clear, when Buddha died in the year 483, जब तक भगवान बुद्ध थे तब तक तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी, क्योंकि कहीं कोई डाउट हुआ, कहीं कोई क्वेश्चन हुआ, कहीं कोई कंट्रोवर्सी हुई, तो गॉड इज देयर इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस. क्लियर? सॉल्व इट बाय द गॉड हिमसेल्फ. नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन आफ्टर लॉर्ड बुद्धा? क्लियर? सो at the in the same year when Buddha died, clear, first Buddhist council was being convened, where it was convened at Saptapani cave, Rajgrih. Clear? And it was convened by Ajat. ठीक है? And the question was, or why this Buddhist council has been convened, was very simple. That how the religion will continue now, because the God has died, Buddha died. So there needs to be certain orders, there needs to be certain rules and regulations, and for that rules and regulation only, first Buddhist council has been convened by Ajatashatru. It was presided over by Mahakasap, and two Pitakas has been composed, Sutta Pitaka and Vinay Pitaka. Clear? In Sutta Pitaka, it was mention of the teachings of Buddha. And in Vinay Pitaka, it was mention of the rules of Buddhist Sangh. क्या rules होंगे once you enter into the Buddhist Sangh? तो अब rules and regulation बनेंगे. अभी तक भगवान थे तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी, but अब rules and regulations. So Sutta Pitaka and Vinay Pitaka has been composed. Clear? So that is what first Buddhist council. After 100 years, second Buddhist council was convened. Now this time at Vaishali. Why at Vaishali? Because the dynasty, the Shishunag dynasty, shifted the capital from Rajgriha to Vaishali. So the ruler of Shishunag dynasty, Kala Ashok, convened another Buddhist council at their capital, Vaishali, in 383 BC. It was presided over by Sabbakami. Now, why it has been convened? Because after 100 years, some new tendencies started emerging in Buddhism. And what were these tendencies? That a particular section within the Buddhist Sangh wanted to introduce changes. बोले समय बदल गया है, समय के साथ कुछ परिवर्तन किए जाने चाहिए. Clear? So first major split in Buddhism took place during second Buddhist council. Clear? And the one who wanted to remain in the original form were called as Thervadins or Sthavirvadins. So those who did not wanted to change anything, they became Thervads, and those who wanted to change, wanted to incorporate new things, they were called as Mahasanghik. How to remember this? Mahasanghik, a great thing. Those who want to incorporate. बोले आ जाओ, सब आ जाओ, तभी महान बनेगा. तो महासंघिक जो परिवर्तन चाहते थे, थेरवादी, स्थवीरवादी, ठीक है, those who did not want to change. So first split took place during Vaishali. Then during the time of Ashok, third Buddhist council was convened at Patliputra, again the capital city, in 250 BC. It was presided over by Mogaliput. And during this particular time, Abhidhamma Pitaka has been composed. Clear? Abhidhamma Pitaka has been composed, and this Abhidhamma Pitaka talked about monastic orders again. Clear? Code of conduct. During this third Buddhist council, according to certain sources, more than 6,000 Buddhist monks has been expelled because of those activities changing nature of the Buddhism only. Clear? So it was convened to bring Buddhism into strict code of conduct or strict monastic order. Then the fourth Buddhist council has been convened at Kundalwan in Kashmir in 72 AD by Kanishk, the Kushan ruler, another great exponent or patron of Buddhism. This meeting was presided over by Vasumitra, and Deputy Ashwaghosh was the deputy of Vasumitra. In some books it is written that it was presided over by both. Clear? But the correct thing is Vasumitra presided, Ashwaghosh was the deputy. And this council divided Buddhism into two sects. Now, it is clear-cut division between the two sects. One, Hinian and Mahayana. Hinian and Mahayana. Clear? Again, Mahayana, the greater wheel, they will be the pro-changers, and Hinian, the one who will be the no-changers, or those who want to keep the religion in its original form. Clear? But now that Buddhism has split it into two, Hinian and Mahayana. Right? So that is what happened during the fourth Buddhist council. Buddhism was divided in two sects. Here later on the third sect will also come, which became one of the reason of its decline. Okay? So now when it comes to major sects within Buddhism, during the second Buddhist council, as I have told you, that first major split took place. The pro-changers, the one who wanted to change, were called as Mahasanghiks, and those who did not wanted to change were Sthavirvadin or Theravadi. Clear? These Mahasanghiks were further divided. Now, when they want to incorporate more and more things, more and more ideas into the religion, there will be different ideas. Clear? And hence, Mahasanghiks were further divided into numerous categories. Mahasanghiks were there, Sarvastivadin were there, Sammitya, Purvashal, Aparashal, Uttarashal. Clear? What they prescribed, clear? It is very less important. UPSC has asked question from this in 2020. ठीक है? So यहाँ से questions आपसे पूछे जाते हैं, बार बार पूछे गए हैं और पूछे जाते रहेंगे. ठीक है? So this is what happened in second Buddhist council. Now, during fourth Buddhist council, another split took place. Again, the pro-changers and no-changers, those who did not wanted any change became Hinayan, as I have mentioned, and those who wanted to change was Mahayana. Clear? Now, they left the Stangik Marg, the Mahayans. क्यों? क्योंकि अब चेंज हो गए ना. अब उन्हें अष्टांगिक मार्ग से लक्ष्य नहीं मिलना, उन्हें और भी नई नई चीजें करनी है, तभी वो साल्वेशन उन्हें मिलेगा. बट हीनयान, they will still follow the Stangik Marg. As I have told you, no changes के अलावा इन्हें हम those who wanted to follow the original religion of Buddhism भी कह सकते हैं. So when they will follow the original teachings of Buddha, they will follow the Stangik Marg. Clear? Mahatma Buddha has been recognized as God by Mahayans. अब भगवान बुद्ध कौन हो गए हैं? महायान के लिए भगवान. वो इंसान थे ही नहीं, अब वो तो अवतरण थे. ठीक है? वो भगवान थे, और जब भगवान है तो भगवान की भक्ति करनी चाहिए. ठीक है? भगवान की पूजा करनी चाहिए. Clear? They started worshipping, they started bhakti, they started idol worship. Means all those things which corrupted Vedic religion is not being incorporated in Buddhism. Clear? इसीलिए तो अष्टांगिक मार्ग छोड़ दिया ना. अष्टांगिक मार्ग was a simple path towards nirvana. ठीक है? Now you have to idolize Buddha, you have to worship Buddha, you have to bhakti Buddha. Buddha is God. Clear? So all those things, and Hinayan recognized Buddha as common person. a great person, a common person who became great, महापुरुष माना. ठीक है? क्यों? Because of the life events and because the simplicity with which Buddha prescribed the religion. And with that thing, when Buddha can attain the nirvana, get rid of the cycle of life and birth, clear, being a common person, Hinian said any individual can become Buddha. Once you get that enlightenment which Buddha got, you will also become Buddha. ठीक है, हीनयान ये कहेगा कोई भी बुद्धा बन सकता है, बस आपको एनलाइटनमेंट चाहिए. बट महायान क्या कहेगा? यू हैव टू वर्शिप इन ऑर्डर टू अटेन साल्वेशन. अब खुद से कुछ नहीं होगा, आपको भक्ति करनी पड़ेगी. दूसरा आपको मोक्ष देगा, दूसरा आपको निर्वाण प्रोवाइड करेगा. सो दैट इज व्हाट महायान प्रिस्क्राइब. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट, अगर आप खुद से नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू गेट निर्वाण ऑन योर ओन, there are bodhisattvas. Clear? Now who are these bodhisattvas? Bodhisattvas, according to Mahayana, were those individuals, the concept of bodhisattva are those individuals who are on the verge of attaining nirvana, जिन्हें निर्वाण प्राप्त हो जाएगा. एक कदम बढ़ाएंगे निर्वाण मिल जाएगा. But they are not getting nirvana. Why? So that remaining in this materialistic world, they can help others to attain nirvana. खुद को मिल सकता है, ऑलमोस्ट मिल चुका है, बस एक कदम बढ़ाने की देर है, बट वो नहीं ले रहे निर्वाण. क्यों? क्योंकि अगर वो निर्वाण प्राप्त कर लेंगे तो उनकी निर्वाण प्राप्ति होगी, बट अगर वो वहीं रुक के बाकियों की मदद करते हैं तो ज्यादा लोगों को निर्वाण प्राप्ति होगी. ठीक है? सम ऑफ दोज बोधिसत्वास विच बिकेम प्रोमिनेंट: पद्मपानी, अजिताभ, Vajrapani. They were the prominent bodhisattvas. Clear? Which Mahayana prescribed. When it comes to Hinian said worship can be done through symbols like elephant, chakra. Clear? So these type of symbols which is being recognized with Buddha needs to be accepted, and that needs to be recognized, and worship needs to be done through those things only. Here there is no requirement of any change or any idealism of Buddha. Okay, so in that way, this is how Buddhism been recognized. Okay,